is Walter, main roster bound. First, he'll be facing the British superstar and Progress World Champion Cara at WXW's 21st anniversary. Axel Tischer is about to make his debut for OTT next year. Francesco Akira has been announced for FNW's Rise of the Kingdom. Rhio has joined Northwest Strong, and Joseph Connors is a free agent. Hello, everybody, and welcome to TNT, a Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling. I am your host, the Great British Otaku, Mr. Andrew Moore, Andy to most, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host. He is the Pro Wrestling T-shirt champion of the world, Big Daddy Santa Claus.
Ho,
How are we doing?
Ho. I am very good. You can't actually see the wrestling T-shirt I've got underneath. I've got a big hoodie on to keep myself warm, but I'm wearing one that I was given by my secret Santa from My Big Fat Geek Life a year and a bit ago. I've got a wonderful WWF panda hitting another panda with a steel chair T-shirt on.
I wonder who got you that one.
A very, very lovely person.
Indeed. I've got a big bag kaiju on today. He's keeping me warm in my big grey hoodie because, as you say, it is December. It is winter. You are looking like Santa Claus more and more each and every week. But there's been a lot happening in the wrestling world.
There has, hasn't there? I mean, we only focus on the UK. There's been tons happening all over the world, but in the UK and a little bit of Europe as well, we've had some really, really exciting news. Let's talk about some European, possibly to US news.
Yeah. So, is Walter main roster bound? We'll get into the second story because that will probably be part of it in the upcoming, because he has been announced for WXW Germany's 21st anniversary on the 18th of December, where he'll be facing for the first time British wrestler and Progress World Champion Cara. That's just going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. Let's just face it. So should we start with Walter possibly going to the main roster?
Yeah. So rumors have it that Walter is heading to Smackdown.
Yes.
Now, I can definitely see him fitting in Smackdown, but I definitely would want him going straight after the main belt, but I can see him going after Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I could see that one. On a strange one, Brock Lesnar.
Oh, God, everyone wants Brock Lesnar versus Walter. After the stare-off at Royal Rumble.
You know, Brock Lesnar versus Walter would just be an incredible match, but two, just a great way to establish Walter as a threat immediately by having him take out someone like Brock Lesnar so he can take another 3-month vacation.
To see Walter with his catch style against Lesnar with his wrestling, if they focused on Lesnar's wrestling as opposed to his MMA style, I think you could have an absolutely phenomenal match. I really do.
They would just absolutely go to war with each other. Of course, the UK was treated to seeing Cesaro versus Walter on the UK tour, as well as a tag team match where he teamed with Sheamus, and they faced Finn Balor and Cesaro.
I think another sign that he might be heading to the main roster is there have been clips being released of Walter versus Cesaro on all the socials.
Yeah, they were big on that. I was sure they said it was going to be on the WWE network. I must admit, I literally only checked the WWE network for the Progress, the NXT UK. This week, WXW, and I'll talk about True Colors in a little while. That was fantastic. But as you say, there are so many great matches. But how will he be perceived by the wider US and worldwide audience, I guess? Is yet to be seen, and how he'll be treated as well could be. I
think they should bring in Imperium. I think that is what they would need on SmackDown to have Imperium as a whole. I think that is a real boost, and I think it would help Walter to have his his cronies, his backup, to reiterate the importance of how the ring is sacred.
Yes, Ike, and Bartel. And that could easily set up for a good trios feud against the Bloodline, as Roman Reigns and the Usos. But of course, right now, both, Reigns is a heel. So I feel like they need to change.
Face Imperium.
Yeah, they need to kind of change. Will they need to change that to have Walter as the main bad guy and bring Roman back as the fan favorite? Maybe have him lose to Lesnar, and then have Walter destroy Lesnar, take the title, destroy a couple of people, and Reigns returns for WrestleMania to take the title from Walter, and then Walter gets buried.
Well, knowing what WWE are like with foreign heels, I think having Walter and Imperium would be the only way you could turn the Bloodline face.
They would be the perfect antagonists to, as you say, to bring them back to faces, if you like.
I can imagine that turning the Usos face wouldn't be too difficult. I can imagine Reigns is so polarizing, it would be difficult to do. But they've done it before and ignored what people say. So why worry about something simple like fans now?
Well, it's strange because he's become more popular and more of a fan favorite since actually turning heel. So it'd be a question whether they would want to take that away, because as you say, he's been so great as the guy, as that heel champion that WWE have lacked for so long.
Yeah, since Lesnar.
Yeah, since Lesnar. It's always, I think, a good dominant heel champion is always, you look at how good he was as a champion for NXT UK. He was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I know he didn't have huge amounts of defenses, I think 10 maybe overall, but each one was so important, and
each one was so dominant.
Each one was so dominant up until his eventual defeat by Ilya Dragunov. But
they told a story. But as we discussed, Walter is going to be at WXW Germany's 21st anniversary show. He's not the only person that's been announced, is he?
Oh, yeah, because, well, we'll talk about that in just a minute, because let's say this could be his swan song for WXW, further solidifying the fact that, yes, he's US bound, because this is a huge matchup. Cara Noir versus Walter in the first time ever conclusion, because Cara Noir was originally scheduled to be part of the six-man ladder match to be crowned the number one contender. He was then removed just a couple of days ago, and they said, we've got a huge match coming, and people were all guessing out, and some people thought it might be Aleister Black versus Cara Noir. How good would that be? Amazing. But the one that eventually people started going, well, I wonder if it's Walter. And it's going to be a great match. I'm getting WWX now for that week. I'm having to. There's no way I'm missing the 18th anniversary show. That has got to be a must watch.
You are an absolute swine, and it's the 21st anniversary. You're an absolute swine. I was really excited about Walter versus Cara Noir. Now that you've put Aleister Black versus Cara Noir in my mind, I'm now
I'm sure we'll get that one eventually. I'm sure that would be an absolute phenomenal match. But
I will ask Santa for it.
We will ask Santa for it indeed. But as you say, Cara Noir is not going to be the only British superstar that is going to be at WXW, because Sky Smithson has been announced. It'll be interested to see if she faces the WXW Women's Champion, Iva Koloski.
I would hope so. Sky Smithson is an absolutely fantastic striker, has got a fantastic ground game as well, part of the Legion, and she's going to hate me for saying this. When you meet her, a really lovely person.
She's a absolute phenomenal talent, and it's been evident to see from what we've seen her on Rev Pro UK, from what we've seen of her on Progress Wrestling recently. She's been phenomenal. Iva Koloski has just won. She won the Women's Championship at True Colors, which I'll be talking about in a little while. She's really athletic, and I think it would make for a very interesting matchup, and it would be. So we'll have to wait and see who she is scheduled to face. I'm sure it'll be announced within the next week or so, and of course we will talk about it on here when that does happen. Of course, one other person that's obviously going to be there is the WXW champion, unified champion, Axel Tischer, and he is going to be making his OTT debut soon.
He is indeed. On the 6th of February, he'll be wrestling for OTT. He's going to be busy that week, isn't he? He's doing a big UK tour over the... No, sorry, I say that week. Couple of weeks he's going to be over for. I'm going to see him twice.
You are, yeah. I'd wonder... It'd be very interesting to see who he faces over in OTT. Obviously, Will Ospreay could be an option for him to do. Again, Big Damo, of course, could be an option. They could team up Tisca with Damo. There's so many, again, great matches that could be had. Maxted, any member of the Kings of the North.
Yeah.
But there's some great talent over there, and I'm sure he's going to, because it's part of, as you say, it's as far as I know, I think it's the latter weeks of January and the early weeks of February. You can get in touch with Gary Ward if you are looking to book Axel Tischer in the UK over that period, and I'd highly recommend you do, because he's a phenomenal talent.
He is. I'm going to see him at Wrestle Carnival's Carnival of Champions and at FNW's Rise of the Kingdom.
And of course, FNW Rise of the Kingdom, they've just announced that Francesco Akira will be part of the show. He's been doing quite a lot of UK appearances recently. He didn't get to do the Frog and Bucket one because of the travel restrictions and quarantine being brought in literally the day of his flight. I know it's going to make European talents and so forth somewhat difficult to book during this period, but
I'm hoping I get to see him. Because I didn't get to see him at Rev Pro show that he was meant to be at, because unfortunately he had to cancel for that one. So I am really hopeful that I will get to see him at FNW.
Yeah, maybe he will face Axel Tischer, because they haven't put his opponent up yet. But I would love to see Francesco Akira versus FNW champion Danny Black.
I'll give you that, but I would like to see Francesco Akira, seeing as I'm going to be there live, against FNW regular, the OJMO.
Interesting. Of course, another FNW regular is Chris Ridgway, and they've had 2 chances to meet in the ring recently, but they've unfortunately failed on either occasion. I have been joined by my lovely dog.
Yay! I give you that, but if Chris Ridgway, as far as I'm concerned, I would like to see him against Axel Tischer.
Yeah, it'd be a nice one. Do you know who I actually thought about when I thought Tisca? It's Damon Moser.
Oh my God, that would be,
because he's so over with the crowd over there, and he is just an amazing performer. Let's see if we can get one. There he is. You're going to be famous, Badger. You're going to be famous.
It's good to see Badger up high. Normally he's just by your legs and I don't get to say hello. So hello, Badger. Very happy to see you.
He's a good boy. But yeah, that's, as you say, so many great matches that both of them could have. Tisca, Moser, I think, would be phenomenal, because doesn't Tisca have some sort of free throw, some sort of wrestling background similar to... I can't remember.
I believe he does have some form of catch background. But of course, Tisca and Akira aren't the only two foreign superstars, international superstars, that have been announced for FNW's Rise of the Kingdom show.
Yeah, Canadian high flyer Vaughn Vertigo has been announced. Quite young in his career. He's quite highly touted in Canada, in his home country, on the independent scene. He has made UK tours before with Triumph Pro Wrestling.
I'm not going to lie, I know absolutely sod all about Vaughn Vertigo, but I've had a look online. I've seen some wonderful memes and some short clips of him flying through the air, and I'm quite excited to see him live.
Yeah, he would also obviously be, again, another interesting choice to face Danny Black as champion. I'm sure they would have a phenomenal match together.
Yeah.
Be really good. I'm quite jealous of you getting to see this show over at Unit 9 right now, because they are putting together something quite special.
They really are. And Unit 9 is a really special venue. I'm sorry, but I know you haven't been there yet, and I cannot wait to take you along to a show there. And I'm sure I will get to at some point towards the end of the year in 2022. The club is phenomenal. There's a limited seating area, and I'm going to be completely straight with you. My season ticket that I have bought a seated ticket because I'm getting old and my knees are knackered.
Yeah, you know, I went to one show where it was a stand-in, and I can't stand for 3 hours.
The thing is about FNW, they normally have about 250 people and about 30 chairs, which is one of the reasons that I booked myself a seated ticket.
You're getting about feedback a bit. It's weird. It's when you move your head this way, you're kind of getting a bit of feedback.
My apologies.
No worries, just but yeah, as I say, it's just going to be phenomenal. I know that Vaughn Vertigo is also due to be at Creation Pro Wrestling, and he's also due to be competing at Triumph Pro Wrestling while he's down at tour as well. So another, as you say, also guys, they like to come and try and make their name over here in the UK. Speedball Mike Bailey's done it, so. Very interesting.
You said it now.
Brass monkey. That funky
monkey. Thank you.
It's but as you say, they are putting together quite a phenomenal little show. And as I say, I'm very jealous that you're going to be there. One thing I forgot to mention in the big news actually is Gabriel Kidd set to face Eddie Kingston this week at NJPW Strong Nemesis show, which is on the 9th of December at Vermont Hollywood. And Gabriel Kidd has released a little video promo, if you like. He told that if Eddie Kingston tries to come in here and bring his King's Road style, he's going to show him what Shibataism is all about.
Ooh.
So some fighting words coming out of Gabriel Kidd. He's had some big matches since coming over. His first opponent, Jonathan Gresham. Now he's taking on Eddie Kingston. May not be the greatest wrestler in the world, but he's a polarizing starring wrestler.
I love him. Not just because I love hardcore matches. I think he's one of the best promos out there at the moment.
He's very real, and I like that. That's one of the things that I like. I don't always like my wrestling clean cut, all fancy and clean. Sometimes I like a bit of match when it gets a bit dirty and it's more rough and rugged.
Yeah.
NWA style, kind of what you get in the WXW as well. It's not always, it doesn't have to be clean, doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be every flip has to be on point, but it just has to feel a bit real.
I'll tell you someone else who can be deep down and dirty and can be definitely on point at the same time.
Who's that?
Rhio.
She's deadly.
Yeah.
She is vicious. She is deadly. She has joined Northwest Strong, just making Northwest Strong even stronger. They might as well just Northwest Strong are taking over the UK. It's one of the best factions in wrestling. I don't understand why promotions aren't booking them as a faction right now.
Everyone wants one of the jackets, you see. You should book them now.
Boggles my mind that somebody hasn't gone, right, I want all of you guys on. And TNT seem to be heading that way. If you look at Extreme Fields, they were all involved, all part of Ignition as well. But
who did I say my favourite standout British wrestler, my British female wrestler, who I thought was the best at the moment was?
You said it was Rhio. She has been phenomenal. She is, as you say, she's one of these, not to steal Laura Di Matteo's thing, but she's as real as gets. She is powerful, she's strong, she's a phenomenal striker, great wrestling base, and now working with, honestly, as you know, I've said it a lot, the best technical wrestler in the UK right now, Chris Ridgway. There's no better person to be learning under than Chris Ridgway right now on that independent circuit. And good luck to Rhio and Northwest Strong. Continue to kick ass. And as I say, I hope to see more promotions in 2022 booking a full faction of Northwest Strong. And having them dominate.
Definitely.
Northwest Strong invaders.
I'm looking forward to
promotion. That'd be amazing.
I'm looking forward to seeing. We've got coming up on the WWE Network, Fear and Loathing nights 1 and 2, and on night 2 you've got Rhio versus Casey, who's one of my all-time favourites. So I'm dying for that match. I'm really looking forward for it.
I'm pretty sure, yes, as you say, it's going to be a banging match. She has been incredible, and I would probably agree with you. We are doing an awards show in a couple of weeks because it is the end of the year. Wrestling will get less and less, so we'll need to do some filler. So we will be doing our annual awards show. We call it annual. We've only done one before.
Nothing's filler on this podcast. It's all killer, my friend.
Oh, indeed. But yeah, it's going to be hard to beat Rhio for top independent women's wrestler in the UK.
Rhio versus Evo. That's what it's going to be. Now, our next piece of news. Joseph Connors.
Yes, he is a free agent. I can confirm this via a source. I can't tell you who my sources are, but I can confirm he is a free agent. It is unknown whether he was released, asked for his release, or contract ran out. So it'll be interesting because there's been no press release from the WWE, which makes it. Oh, so are you trying to one-up me with your pet?
I'm just equaling. This is Tesla, who is disappearing.
Yeah, she's
my background.
Oh, look at her. There we go. It's an animal episode.
It's all right. I'll get the snake out in a minute, and that is not a euphemism.
They're gonna be the new favourites. You'll realise they're gonna think, bring back Badger, get rid of Andrew. But yeah, Joseph Connors on the UK scene once more. That's gonna be phenomenal. He already appeared for British Wrestling Revolution this Friday, as we're recording this today. It's Sunday. He literally appeared for them, attacking BWR heavyweight champion Robbie X after he defeated Joe Hendry in the main event. There was a little tweet he sent out yesterday. It just said the date and then the time, which was 6 p.m. Then later at 6 p.m. that day, there was a video in which he basically said, I'm unrestricted, I've got my chains up. It's very cryptic. He never actually specifically said I'm no longer with NXT UK or anything else like this. But I thought, come on, it can't be an NXT UK thing because he literally says, I am Joseph effing Connors. But he says it. And then he was later announced for Wrestle Carnival to appear at Carnival of Champions, which he'll be there as a local Nottingham lad himself. So he'll be making an appearance and he'll be speaking to the crowd. And then following that, he's actually going to be making an active role in their February show, Thursday Night Carnival, in their new location, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But what we know, his first confirmed match is going to be for Wrestle Carnival as we speak. We don't know what, I'm sure people already have been on the phone to him. Are you available? He's going to be phenomenal for the UK scene. I can see BWR, he would fit right in right there. And TNT Extreme Wrestling. He's just going to be a great...
I watched him wrestling for Rev Pro in what I think was his final Rev Pro match in Stevenage before he joined NXT UK. So I'll be very happy to see him back with Rev Pro, and I can definitely see that happening. And I also saw him in his first NXT UK match in Cambridge. Obviously, he was in the tournament, but his first match with NXT UK, not as a tournament base, but the TV tapings, which was in Cambridge. And I really, really, really hope that I get to see him not just at Wrestle Carnival, but I'm really hoping he comes to FNW as well.
Yeah, he's a great talent. WWE NXT UK never quite sort of wanted to get and push him. But he would have been he's going to be a phenomenal heel was probably got to be best. He's so suited to it. He looks menacing. He's got that size.
Now, there's a reason I like seeing him beaten. He happens to look just like my best friend, Tyler. They have such an exact similar look. The hair, facial structure, everything about it. So every time I see him get a good kick in, I think of my mate Tyler. I think, love you, buddy, but yeah, this makes me laugh.
Yeah, so really looking forward to seeing Joseph Connors on the scene. As you say, you'll get to hear him first speak at Wrestle Carnival's Carnival of Champions, which again looks to be an absolute phenomenal show. We've got more news on on Wrestle Carnival. I've got the two latest entrants. Actually, we might as well just do it because Rhio has been entered, is the second entrant for the female. So that's going to be the Queen of the Carnival tournament.
Yep.
And we've also had our second male entrant, and that's going to be one Charlie Sterling. So we've got a Charles and a Charlie. Charles.
You know what? I can see either of them as champion for different reasons.
I think, Sterling all the way. Sorry, Crowley, I love you, but Sterling is just a big boy, tenured pro, and he should be the champion everywhere in the UK.
I will agree with you on that. Love watching him wrestle. Great guy. Love watching Crowley and love watching what Crowley does outside the ring, because he has possibly one of the best social media video interview games outside of the ring.
Very, very creative guy outside and inside the ring, very creative. You could probably say that he had a lot to do with a lot of progress. It's been evident to see. He is, and do you remember what was it? Cordially invited. Can we get another cordially invited, please?
Yes,
please, Crowley. Can we get a second? Can we get cordially invited too?
I'm going to jump on Twitter and put that up in a minute.
Yes, we need cordially invited too, because the first one was phenomenal. And as you say, Charlie Sterling, Rio's going to be an excellent entry. She is the second entrant. It's Charlie Morgan. So we got three Charles. We got three Charlies at Wrestle Carnival. But yeah, looks set to be phenomenal. Again, you're going to be there. Steamer's going to be there. The Tribal Chief of the Big Fat Geeks.
We're both bringing our sons along to that one.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's going to be a really good little family day out then.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Should we get on to some results then? Should we just move on and just say...
We've really enjoyed ourselves with that. We've taken a lot longer with our news stories than we normally do, but Damn it, we're having fun.
Yes. Now, I watched Powered 4 TV recently. There's a lot on Powered 4 TV. We'll talk about what's recently being put on Powered 4 TV as soon as we've done the results for TNT Extreme Wrestling, which was Extreme Fields, which originally the show date was 30th of October. There were huge. There were 14 matches.
14.
Luckily,
there's a reason behind that, though, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, it was a whole all day event. It was a music festival as well. It was from 12. The show ran from 12 till 8 p.m. I believe. So yeah, there was 14. No match typically went over 10 minutes though, so that was quite good. There were, I think, the Lexus Falcons match, the She-Wolves match, and the Dean Allmark Chris Ridgway match were the ones that were given 15 odd minutes rather than, but it was still really good. Tom Farewell defeated LK Messinger. Farewell is a young superstar in the making, and he's someone definitely worth keeping an eye out for. Isaac North then defeated Barry Pruitt in the comedy match of the night. Isaac North came away with the win. Somebody, again, hugely impressive. Got a great look as well. That was part of the Superstar Pro Wrestling showcase. Isaac North came away with the win. Cameron Solis defeated Elijah. It's a huge win for Cameron Solis. I mean, is it a huge win? Because, to be honest, they're probably actually on the same level. It's just Elijah's had the exposure on Progress, whereas Cameron Solis has been making his way on TNT Ignition. Yeah.
Progress has got a slightly wider audience at the moment.
Yeah. So given that, yes, it was a huge win for Cameron Solis. Really good match as well. Lycos Jim then defeated a Northwest strong team of Luke Jacobs and Joe Kessler because Ethan Allen is, of course, injured at the time. So he was ringside. Great match. Lycos Jim came away with the win. Do I really need to say anything more about Lycos Jim and Northwest Strong? They're always good. Dave Getzky defeated Aiton Steen in the LWF showcase. That's the Lancashire Wrestling Federation. Both of these are good young competitors. Dave Getzky is definitely somebody I would keep my eye on because I've been very impressed with him. Yes.
I'm going to have to double check this, but I'm pretty sure that Dave Getzky was the nom de plume of Chris Jericho when he used to write in reviews of himself to wrestling magazines.
Oh, God. That's such a Jericho thing to do as well.
It was definitely Getzky. I just can't remember the first name.
Yeah, so it's Dave Getzky. Scott Oberman defeated Big Guns Joe. Good match. Again, Scott Oberman for me is one of these guys that's going to be a superstar, part of the Northwest Strong stable now. He's a phenomenal talent, got a good size to him, still very young, has a very sour looking face, really good, sort of like putting on that I'm an angry young man brooding, yeah, sort of thing. And he's really got it spot on. Shreddy, the Jack Stack daddy of professional wrestling, then attacked Big Guns Joe. And if you haven't done it already, go check out our interview with the Stacked and Jack daddy of professional wrestling, Shreddy. Phenomenal guy.
Indeed. And also check out our interview with Tate Mayfairs, which we'll talk about later, who also tells some great stories about Big Guns Joe and a loaf of bread.
Yes. Oh, God, I just remembered that. Yeah, great story. Go check that out right now. Is Tate Mayfair. Tateness is greatness. The latest special with Tate Mayfair is fantastic. Absolute superstar guy. Really nice guy. Very braggadocious. I think guy's going to be an absolute superstar. Anyway, back to it. Son of Durson then defeated Leon Gray. This was a very good match. Son of Durson, again, somebody who is genuinely going to be a superstar in the next couple of years. He's going to be a breakout talent. Leon Gray is making his way. He's part of the Made to Last tag team with Brian Thorne. Harley Hudson then won an Island Scramble match, which featured Lance Riviera, the Playboy Prince, Connor Klein, Lucy Sky, and oh God, I'm so sorry, it's blanking on me. There were 5 competitors overall. Harley Hudson came away with the win. The Scouse Mouse Powerhouse. Definitely keep an eye on this young lady. She is going to dominate soon enough. She-Wolves then defeated the Pretty Little Killers, as I say, in one of the first matches that actually went a little bit longer than the rest. Really, really, really good match. All 4 of the girls really handled themselves very well in this. Came off just a fantastic match. Ivy and Ruby isolating, I think it was Casey for a long period during the match. Great tag team work. She was then defeated D-Generation at refs.
Who are D-Generation refs?
Well, that's James Greenwood, superstar referee James Greenwood in the North, and another referee, I can't remember who it is. They've also got a thing going around the North Restaurant, which I think is fantastic.
Was it a long match, that one?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, Dean Allmark defeated Chris Ridgway, and just an exhibition of beautiful wrestling. Just lovely, beautiful wrestling. Wrestling is beautiful. Rick Marcus defeated Ryan Hunter in the Odyssey Pro Wrestling Showcase. Alexis Falcon and Gia Adams defeated the Liverbirds. Alexis Falcon forcing Angel Hayes to tap out with armbar that she uses now. I'm going to leave. I thought I was going to rant about people using submissions, but I'm not going to.
You're the bigger man. Well done.
Going to be a bigger man today. I'm not going to be honest. It was just a really good match. She was about to hit her Falcon DDT, but that got reversed, and she then reversed it into the armbar. So good match. Nathan Cruz defeated Dynamite Lee, and then Dan Maloney came out and defeated Nathan Cruz. Then there was a death match. And I don't watch deathmatch wrestling.
I haven't had a chance to watch yet because, as you can tell by the beard, I've been quite busy this week. I will watch that deathmatch, and I will tell you about it next week because I do want to watch it.
Yeah, Tyler Devlin versus Clint Margera. So yeah, I'm Clint, sure it's going to be an absolutely fantastic. It's just,
not your thing. That's more than fair enough.
Exactly. Why watch it and complain about it when I can just not watch it and complain
You've
about it?
You've got people for that sort of thing.
Yeah, don't watch and complain about it. Just not watch it and complain about it instead. Anyway, as I say, this was really good. I wish I could have been there for the whole show because live music and everything. As I say, 14 matches. They didn't give the matches huge amount of time, but which is fine. They didn't need to. There was a market square there as well, and just fancy dress and everything. It was just fantastic. Show. Then there was TNT Ignition, a little show of horrors, which was the 31st of October. Synergy defeated Brian Aidenson and Simon Millard. Synergy came out dressed as the Legion of Doom, and 2 big lads, and they looked fantastic as the Legion
I saw the pictures. They did look amazing.
They had the whole fantastic look, and big boys, as I say, could be something really good about them. Shreddy then defeated Big Guns Joe using the full Nelson, forcing Big Guns Joe to tap out. I like the full Nelson. This is a move that you don't see very often, but I think Lashley brought it back recently, and it's really made an effective submission move for power guys.
It looks great on a big guy. Someone like Shreddy really will own that move. Look forward to watching that match as well.
Yeah, Kev Lloyd uses it to good effect as well, but he's a proper catch wrestler, true catch wrestler. Scotty Rourke then defeated Sandy Beach in your high-flying exhibition match. It was good fun. Gene Mundertaker then defeated Chase Alexander. This was actually the longest match of the night, so they both of these guys got a lot of time to work here, and Undertaker came away with the win. Gia Adams versus Tonga. Tonga got herself disqualified by not listening to the referee and pushing her, and then pushing the referee. So she got disqualified, leaving Gia Adams frustrated and angry. Then it was Cameron Solis and Tom Thelwell versus JJ Webb and Scott Oberman in a really, really good tag team match. Cameron Solis and Thelwell came away with the win when Solis hit the Tombstone Pile Driver on Scott Oberman to pin the champion. Really good show. I would give him 3.5 for Ignition. I'm going to give Extreme Fields 4 though, because there was a lot of wrestling, but they did it really well and paced it. You know, not every match has to be a 20-minute match, so I think it's quite nice when kept simple. Good matches. Do you want to tell me about NXT UK? Because I watched it, but
well, we started off with Xia Brookside Bratty Brookside versus Mako Satomura. I love the fact that Brookside was screaming when she didn't get the 3 count on Satomura and was just throwing an absolute fit. Excellent. She's owning that persona. She is doing it absolutely brilliantly. She's winding me up, which means she's doing her job well.
The brattiest of bratness is brilliant. Bratty Brookside. I'm finally interested in Xia Brookside again.
Yeah. And I really, 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 really hope that this brings in Robbie. Just for one match. Bring in Robbie Brookside. But for a reason, bring him in. That would be great. In the end, Satomura hit Scorpio Rising. It was only a 3-minute match, but it only needed to be a 3-minute match. And it was also, in my opinion, something that Satomura needed to put her over as a strong champion, because most of her matches have gone long so far. I think she needed not necessarily a squash, but a really strong win, which is what she got here.
No, I thought it was a really good match, and Mako, as you say, came away looking strong. Bratty Brookside just came away looking like an absolute brat, so it worked perfectly.
What more could you want? We then had a promo with Charlie Dempsey being welcomed to De Familia by Rohan Raja.
Yes, not La Familia.
No, De Familia.
De Familia. It's different, honest.
It means he's joined. We're happy.
Yeah.
Satomura was then in the promo announcing she was going back to Japan for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And which is fair enough, it's Christmas. And out came Blair Davenport to announce that she was going to challenge Amelia McKenzie while she didn't have her protector there. So this makes sense for me as far as storylines go. Davenport will absolutely destroy McKenzie, which will line her up for having a good match with Satomura when she comes back.
Yeah, Amelia McKenzie is the Connor Mills of the relationship, and Mako Satomura is the Michael Oku. You got to beat up the other one, but lose. Sorry, Connor.
Saxon Huxley then had a jobber entrance in his match with Kenny Williams. He was already in the ring, but don't worry, because he makes up for it. I love the crossbody that he did to Williams when Williams was in the ropes. That was a devastating looking move. It was great to show the heavyweight of Saxon Huxley doing this sort of like very live move, very big, strong move. I thought it was great. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I enjoyed this more than the first one. I'm obviously thankful that Huxley got the win. So
he did indeed get the win when Subculture's music hit. Kenny Williams looked around to find out where his opponent of the future was, because he has been slating Mandrews, and Huxley got a big hit and a pin.
Yeah, good on Huxley. I think Huxley needs to pick up wins every now and then to make him seem like a legitimate threat for when you want to push him.
Someone who is a legitimate threat is Sam Gradwell, who we love, who had a...
He's not a legitimate threat. He's 4,000 to 1.
Well, true.
It's a mug's bet.
That's what it said on the board. He had a promo with Shah Samuels where Shah Samuels had his betting board up. And as you hear, Gradwell was at the bottom of the board for taking on...
well, it was 4,001, I think, and it just said Mugs bet.
4,001 for the big cup. I was actually a little bit disappointed with this. It was good, but with someone like Shah Samuels, who is great on the mic, and someone who's Sam Gradwell, who is great on the mic, this had the potential to be brilliant.
Yeah,
and it just
during the match, what we need is at least 10 minutes of promo against each other before the match starts.
Yeah, even if it's just them shouting mug and yogurt at each other, that will do. So this has been lined up for next week. We're going to have Sam Gradwell versus Shah Samuels. And I'm looking forward to that. I want to see it.
Be a big match, yeah.
Pretty Deadly then had an interview where they said that, yes, the Mustache Mountain built the foundation for NXT, but they built the Sistine Chapel on top.
Yeah, this was a great promo. Well done, Pretty Deadly. Well done, Lewis Howley and Sammy Smooth.
I knew you were going to go there. If you want to know why we say Sammy Smooth, watch our interview with Tate Mayfair. Mustache Mountain basically was saying they want their championships back. Pretty Deadly was saying they ain't going to lose them. I hope they don't.
Yeah. Do you know what I've always found ridiculous on these? Because these interviews are supposedly recorded at different times, yet these guys both know what the other person said in their interview.
Don't overthink it.
It doesn't. It's this weird thing that they're like,
stop making me use my brain. I'm watching wrestling.
It's like both of them have been given a script almost of what the other person said.
Don't make me spit out my brandy and coke. Oh, good grief.
Terrible drinking on the job.
I got it as a thank you. We then had Rampage versus Ilya. Now, this was interesting, and I still haven't heard much about the way it ended, but we'll just focus on the fact Brown was fighting dirty, focusing on Dragunov's back. I love the fact that even when Dragunov was hitting the ropes, he was really
this was
putting
a
over
great match up until
the end.
What happened? Yeah.
At the end, it was a referee stoppage. Do you want to describe what happened before that?
Yeah. So the way I think what happened is the enziguri that Ilya tries to lands, and I mean toe cap to your temple here.
It really did look like that. Normally when you see an enziguri, it's sort of like the curve of the foot and the shin that makes the contact. This really did look like it was a proper toe
So you got the toe right to the hip. Yeah, so here. Now you notice the moment they both hit the floor, watch Rampage, he turns over and looks directly at the referee. And so you can see straight away that he said, like, I'm out or something. But what you definitely, I swear at one point you see an angle where you do see a well about here on the side of his face. And
to the left.
I just wonder if it was legit. Now, you see, it wouldn't have been so bad if they had no audience, but because they have an audience at the moment. Now, I commend them for stopping the match because some places will try and finish a match and try and do roll-ups or try and, do something when they should stop the match.
Yes.
And just say, look, the referee is stopping this. If the referee has to intervene for more than a couple of minutes, you need to stop the match because otherwise it's just weird.
Referees are there for a reason. Don't think they're just there to make it count. They are there to make sure the wrestlers are safe.
Yeah.
And this was definitely the right decision. I haven't heard anything about it since, though. I haven't spotted anything online discussing it. Have you?
No. Yeah, you're quite right. It's been quiet. There's been no press release again. It doesn't seem like they ever get any press release regarding Nxt UK. But as you say, it just kind of might read I didn't read their recap of it. So maybe if we read the WWE's recap, maybe they do. Overall, it was an okay show that I'd give about 3 sugars to. I probably would have given it more had we been given the full Rampage match. Because the other thing is I noticed that the show ended at about 50 minutes.
Yes, it was the shortest show we've had so far.
So that makes me think that there was probably 10 more minutes that was supposed to happen during that match, but of course, as I say, it was brought to an end. Be interesting too. But yeah, as I say, 3 sugars for me. What about you?
I would give it 3 sugars as well. As I say, it will be interesting to see where we go next, because we will then probably get a hint as to whether it should have been Rampage coming out with the belt or whether it should have been Dragunov coming out with the belt.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt they were going to have him drop it. I assume this was probably the result that they would have gone with.
Don't know. We always said that as soon as we got fans, Rampage should have the belt.
Yeah, I just feel like that'll be a bigger show, but it's now been kind of spoiled.
We'll see.
We'll see, yeah.
ICW. Insane Championship Wrestling's Fight Club, December 04. Started off with Daz Black versus Aaron Echo, but this was a non-title match. Now, this is the first one that Daz Black's had where it's been non-title. Every time it's been non-title, he said that he would put the title on the line. This is the first one where he has had it as non-title. So I was like, ooh, what does this mean? Yeah, it wasn't. It really wasn't. It was good. There were some great moves. Daz Black's standing shooting star press is a thing of absolute beauty. He does it so well. It was a good match overall. And in the end, Logan Smith came out for the distraction and Daz Black rolled up Aaron Echo 1, 2, 3, leading up to Echo's match against Logan Smith at Fear and Loathing. There might be a theme coming here. Our next match, Ellie Armstrong versus Casey. I was excited by this. I love the plant-based powerhouse. Should be in there in a minute. Molly Spartan was out as well. Didn't interfere as much as I expected in this match. It was good back and forth. Casey, obviously, her double knee strikes are stunning. Everything Casey does is great. Let's be honest here. After Rhio, she is probably who I think has been best as far as the women's division is this year. And she hit off with her head for the 1, 2, 3 on Armstrong. We then had Darrow versus Theodorus. Not in a traditional rules match, which surprised me. I thought this would have been another traditional rules match. Doros beat up Darrow non-stop. But then out came Ravy Davy for the distraction. And much as we had at the beginning, Darrow grabbed Theodorus and rolled him up for the 1, 2, 3. Almost exactly the same as the first match, actually. I was a little bit disappointed by it, I've got to admit.
It seems the Wrestling Observer agree with me. They think it was a legitimate injury to Rampage Brown, although no news has been mentioned by any other media sites.
Well done for checking that. Later on in the programme, it was shown that Theodorus went and spoke to Mark Dallas, the owner of ICW, and said that at his match with Ravy Davy at Fear and Loathing, if he lost, there would be no more traditional rules matches. If he won, they will bring rules into all ICW matches, which I'm sure will make you very happy, Andy.
It would. Make me a happy man.
I'll tell you what else would make you a happy man. The next match.
What's that?
You'd have really enjoyed this. Charlie Vice versus DCT. It was really good. Lots of real great strikes from Vice. He is absolutely fantastic. DCT was over as Rover. The DCT DDT that he hit, everyone went mental in the arena. They really wanted to see him win. And in the end, he hit the pedigree for the 1, 2, 3 on Charlie Vice. Believe it or not, Thatcher Wright was thrown out.
How dare they throw such a great man?
And there was even some comments along the lines of there were too many Tories in Scotland anyway, so they needed to get rid of that one. I won't let you comment on that. We then had the main event. Jackson, Andy Wilde and BT Gunn versus Stevie Boy, Kes Evans and Big Damo. Excuse me?
6-man tag, a lot of beef in that 6-man tag. Big Damo taking up on the heel side of things.
He was on the heel side of things. We'll get to that in a minute. It started off with Stevie Boy and BT Gunn in the back beating the living bejesus out of each other.
Of course,
which left us with Kes and Big Damo versus Jackson and Andy Wilde. Kes and Big Damo could not get on. Big Damo wasn't trying to be a favourite, but he just hated Kes Evans, which is fair enough because everybody hates Kes Evans.
Mm. Big Damo back in the UK scene has been a huge for the UK scene.
It has
been doing a lot in the Scotland and a lot in Ireland recently. So hopefully we can get a bit more southern of the border next year.
All in all, this match was fantastic. I'm not even going to try and explain what happens because I have literally several pages, which you can't see because of my background, several pages of notes on this. Everyone was going at everyone. Jackson hit an absolutely fantastic suplex on Damo. I think it was one of the few times that Damo left his feet. Jackson did so well with that. In the end, we had Andy Wilde going for the dad bomb and misses, and Damo hits the Damo bomb on Wilde for the 1, 2, 3. It was a really good match. Highly recommend everyone to watch it. And overall for Fight Club, I would give it 3.5 sugars.
Excellent. So good wrestling to check out on the WWE Network. It doesn't end there, though, because I did actually check out WXW True Colors, which is available on the WWE Network right now. Main event was Axel Tischer versus Mariette Al-Ani. This is where Alexander Wolf, or Axel Tischer, won the Unified Championship in a fantastic match with a great finish. Really enjoyed such a great match. It's only about 18 minutes, so great main event. And Axel Tischer is fantastic. So is Mariette Al-Ani, who happens to be one of my favorite wrestlers right now. I want to see Mariette Al-Ani in the UK next year. Please, somebody out there. A couple other things. Arrows of Hungary are a fantastic team. Icarus and Dover, just a phenomenal tag team. Really just great to watch. Superb teamwork, and they do a better version of the BTE trigger. They do though. They've got a much better version of the BTE trigger. It's the knees of reckoning where they both deliver solid actual knees to the opponents. Fantastic. Looks great.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to agree with you. Immediately I thought, no. Actually, thinking about it, having watched them do it, yeah, you're right.
It is a better version. Norman Hallas took on coach Robert Tisca. Big fan of Norman Harris. He's a young man. He is very big. He's very tall, lanky, got great size to him. Again, somebody who's probably going to be a phenomenal. Peter Tihanye of Hungary took on Fast Time Modo. Really great match. Go out your way to try and watch that match if you can. Then they had the crowning of the women's champion, which was Iva Koloski versus Stephanie Mays. Again, this is fantastic. I would love to see both of these girls in the UK. I think there's some phenomenal matches. In fact, I really like to see Stephanie Mays versus Rhio and Chantel Jordan. Would be phenomenal. Either against somebody like Zoe Lucas or Mariah Ray, May, Lizzie Evo. Actually, I think that would be a phenomenal match. Again, so go out your way to go check out WXW True Colors. I would definitely give the show an overall of 3.5. It's just a very good show. Then I decided to, because you remember we gave a shout out to Passion Pro last week because they were having Corey McRae appear this weekend. I think it's literally happened either right now. It's already happened. I'm not sure what the time difference is.
I think it's the Silverback will have just had his match now, judging by the time we're recording.
But I'm sure it's going to be phenomenal. So they actually messaged us, which is really, really nice. Thank you very much for giving us a listen and sending us a message. So I decided to check out Passion Pro Cup, which was a 2-night tournament that is available free on YouTube. All of their shows are free on YouTube and really, really definitely worth checking out on there if you can. Just... the Hungary scene, they are not the number one. Sorry, I did mention they are not. They are the number one. They're not the number one. They're the number two. HCW, which I guess Hungarian Championship Wrestling is the number one, which is more story based. So you were going to say?
I was just going to say, being a brand new promotion, they're going to be the future number one. And also, I was going to say, what's the commentary on YouTube?
You've actually got two options. Which I didn't realize at first, because there is English commentary, which is a shame. So I was gonna say to the guys, if they needed somebody for English commentary, give us a shout. But it's actually the amazing, incredible Dave Bradshaw who does the commentary for the English commentary, and Dave Bradshaw is just one of the best commentators there is. He's so knowledgeable of the competitors as well, because he does the WXW shows as well. He does the British commentary for them, so he knows.
We're not just blowing smoke here. He really does know his stuff.
Yeah, it really, really does. There's a couple of guys. Drake the Destroyer is somebody I'd like to, go out of your way. He is a big, big man. He is a big, big Zangief looking man. He is huge. He had a great match with Robert Dreisker on the first night. A good match against Mariette Alnick on the second night. But somebody who's very impressive.
He looks kind of like Tyson Tomko back in the day.
Kind of, yeah. Just a really, really big guy. Gulyas Osik is very strange because he's actually very popular in Hungary. So he's actually he's a face, and he had two fantastic matches. One against Senza Volza, who's a phenomenal French talent. If you haven't seen him, go find him. A guy that was really impressive with again was a guy called Maverick. Fantastic. Arrows of Hungary, of course, we just mentioned them. They are awesome. They had a 6-man tag where they were teaming with Iva Koloski, and she held her own. She did some phenomenal things. But the match that I think was the best of the whole both shows was Gil Blanc versus Peter Tahani. Really, really fantastic. It's the main event of night one, and it's definitely worth watching. So definitely go check out Passion Pro Cup if you're looking to expand your wrestling knowledge of different places, different things. They've got some huge stars. We said last week, I haven't got the details in front of me, but Tisca, Alani, Francesco Akira, they were all going to be at this next show, and Courtney McRae, of course.
It's looking like an absolutely fantastic promotion, and we wish them the best of luck in the world.
We certainly do. Now, before we move on to what's going on next week, let's talk about Powered for TV, because they have been adding some phenomenal shows to their thing. It is all part of the FNW, so we get in the backlog of IPW shows right now, from the first ever Undisputed 2 and Super Show 5 there right now. You can go watch Will Ospreay versus Cody Rhodes.
Against who?
Will Ospreay versus Cody Rhodes.
Is that before or after he sets himself on fire on a table?
Way before that. Pollyanna's on the card as well. Joseph Connors is on the card. Zack Sabre Jr. faced Matt Riddle. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Matt Riddle, ladies and gentlemen, is available on Super Show 5 from IPW. You've also got Undisputed 2, Kip Sabian versus Chris Ridgway, Mark Haskins versus Timothy Thatcher, Lewis Howley and Sammy Smooth versus Eminem, Connor Mills and Maverick Mayhew. Bobby Tyler is on the card. Just incredible and undisputed 1. Livy Grace versus Zaya Brookside, Dave Mastiff versus Big Grizzly, Kip Sabian versus Cara Noir, Adam Maxted versus Scott Starr. There are so many incredible. Mark Haskins versus Austin Aries. All of these shows have just been added, and it's just the start of the back catalogue of FNW and IPW shows that are being added to Powered 4 TV right now. And guess what?
What, Andy?
You can watch them all for free right now.
For how much?
Free, for no money, no payment up front needed. Just sign up, use the promotional code TPOD, that's TEAPOD, and you will get 1 free month of Powered 4 TV, where you can go check out Cody Rhodes versus Will Ospreay, Matt Riddle versus Zack Sabre Jr., Kip Sabian versus Cara Noir, Kip Sabian versus Chris Ridgway. There are so many great matches, and that's just the start, because we said TNT Extreme, TNT Ignition, Wrestling in Hinckley, just so many. Jody Fleisch versus Jonathan Gresham is a free match right now.
So many different companies that you can go and watch. And of course, there are also some absolutely brilliant interviews there from the old IPW days, 1PW days, sorry.
Indeed. Go check that out right now. Powered 4 TV. Sign up, use the promotional code TPOD, TEAPOD. As I say, there's stuff you can check out there for free even before you sign up. Just check it out right now. Jody Fleisch versus Jonathan Gresham.
That is a good one. Something else I forgot to mention when we're doing our NXT review.
Yes.
Something that I haven't mentioned for a while is how good the commentary was.
Yeah. Well, I do enjoy the NXT UK team. Yeah. Andy Shepherd and Nigel McGuinness. Fantastic commentary.
And you can watch some of Nigel McGuinness's matches via watching 1PW shows on Powered 4 TV for free using TPOD.
TEAPOD. Let's take a look at next week, because there's so much happening next week. It is end of the year time, starting tomorrow or today, when this will be released, which is Monday the 5th, and it is Catch Pro Wrestling as Catch Pro present Monday Night Catch at the Bread Shed in Manchester. Tell me who's on the card.
The Crew versus Aiton Steele, Dave Birch and Big T. Jesse Wolf versus Kid Like Us 2. Not Kid Like Us 1, Kid Like Us 2. Because Kid Like Us 1 is taking on Rhio. That is going to be an awesome match. I want to watch that. And I will be able to watch that because Catch Pro shows are on
Powered 4 TV.
There you go. Scott Oberman, Joe Kessler, and Miles Kamen will be taking on Dynamite Lee, Chris Egan, and Big Guns Joe. Scotty Rourke will be taking on Brady Phillips, another great match, and Chris Ridgway versus 2-Bit. That Catch Pro show is looking amazing.
Yeah, that looks like an absolutely fantastic card. The Jesse Wolf Kid Lycos is a story-driven match. Jesse Wolf costing Lycos Jim the match against the Heritage. If you've seen it on Twitter, it's been really quite funny, because Miles Kamen, of course, is a member of Second to None. But since being announced for this match, he's constantly been posting that he's a member of Northwest Strong, and he's been like blasting himself in images with him and Chris Ridgway in Japan and things like this. And it's really funny. Go check out Miles Kamen on Twitter and the whole, just pretending. But he is, of course, a member of Second to None alongside Nathan Cruz and Matt Myers. But it's just been quite funny. And but Scott Oberman, superstar. Scotty York, Brady Phillips, Chris Ridgway too. But there's so many great matches on that card right now.
There really are.
Now, I made a mistake last week because I said that Sunshine Machine would be challenging Randers Pagne this Friday. I was wrong. It is Sunshine Machine challenging Randers Pagne this Friday. Next Friday, this Friday, come in at Pearl Drive-In Home for Christmas.
Great name.
Fantastic name. As I say, Sunshine Machine versus Randers Pagne for the Bodyslam Tag Team Championships. Demetrius versus Cody Lane, Diana Strong versus Six, Carlos Zamora versus Crowchester. And you can check out WXW on, Bodyslam on WXW now. There
you go. Purpose Wrestling are back at Merton Art Space in Wimbledon for Puppies Are Forever on Friday. Two Good Eggs, Rex Armstrong and JJ Lynch will be going against Jordan Saeed and RJ Singh. Sapphire will be taking on TBC, that well-known wrestler. Laura Di Matteo versus Kira Chimera will be great. Billy Hayes versus Nico Angelo. And David Francesco, Jordan Breaks, Nino Bryant, and that TBC again, versus Destination Everywhere, Michael Oku, Connor Mills, and...
DNIC, Northern Irish Connection. Charlie Carter and Ocean Delaney.
I got confused there. It doesn't take a lot.
Fantastic card once again. Purpose Wrestling have put on some phenomenal shows. Too Good at Eggs versus Jordan Lynch and RJ Singh has been an on-running feud. Sapphire was due to face Alex Windsor, but unfortunately Alex Windsor picked up an injury and had to pull out of shows for a couple of weeks. But it still looks set to be phenomenal. Doug Williams was due to be in the main event. He was the original TBC, but of course he's in America and can't fly. Well, he can fly home, but he's not going to be. He has to be quarantined when he gets home, so therefore wouldn't be able to do the show because he was doing the NWA pay-per-view last week.
He was indeed, and I promise, Purpose, I'm going to come and watch one of your shows next year. I will be there.
At the Merton Art Space. I know they've got a show, I think, about December 11th, which is just a few days after my birthday. So maybe I might treat myself to, because I really want to see Purpose. I think they've been putting together a fantastic team. That means it's actually my birthday in a couple of days.
You're only allowed to go to one show.
Oh, there's so many shows I'd love to, but no. That's after the wedding. Remember, my wedding's in July, so from July to December, I finally I'll be free to watch as many wrestling shows as I would like to. I'm sure she'll join me on some anyway. But yeah, if I head down, because we're spending Christmas with her family this year, so we might head down prior and have a early Christmas, and that'll give me my birthday and maybe go see Purpose Wrestling. Who knows? But it looks like a fantastic card. What else is happening on Friday?
Rise Pro Wrestling are arriving in Hull. Big Effin' Joe will take on Leonardo Darwin. Tyler Devlin versus Michael Carden, and Heidi Katrina versus Lou Nixon. That is a hard-hitting show.
Yeah, expect some deathmatch wrestling with Rise Pro Wrestling.
Amen.
On Saturday, there's loads of wrestling happening on Saturday the 11th. You got Reloaded Championship Wrestling Alliance, RCWA. They are in Rainham for Christmas Chaos. Taylor James versus Harry Payne. CJ Carter versus Warren Banks. Evan Lee versus Jack Torreno. Moss versus The Convict. Kelly Six versus Joe Lando, and Callum Newman versus Paul Robinson.
We then have Superstar Pro at the Longmore Tavern in Liverpool for Superstarcade. Jay Reid versus Dan Evans. Lucy Sky versus Harley Hudson versus Aurora Tevis. That's a great match. Joey Marcus versus Matt Fox versus Barry Pewitt. Big T versus Isaac North. Made to Last, Ryan Thorne and Leon Gray versus Danny Proper and Oscar Byron. Plus a 20-person over-the-top rumble to crown the first ever Superstar Pro champion.
Yeah, Superstar Pro, a really family-friendly type promotion. They put on some fun shows worth checking out. North Wrestling NCL, they are at the Anarchy Brewery in Newcastle. Just remember, all gaps. Rory Coyle and Shreddy versus Liam Slater and Will Cruz in a no DQ. Connor Renshaw versus Martin Kirby. Heidi Katrina versus Lana Austin. H.T. Drake versus Man Like the Reese. Visage versus Chris Ridgway. Sunshine Machine versus Crash Boat. Gia Adams and Rhio versus Lizzie Evo and Tonga. That is a stacked card for North Wrestling.
I want to see Visage versus Chris Ridgway. That is going to be brilliant. It really
Indeed.
is.
I'd like to see the Connie Renshaw versus Martin Kirby as well as and Sunshine Machine versus Crash Boat. You know that's just going to be so much fun.
It really is. Ultimate British Wrestling, UBW, are back in Stevenage with Back to Square One, and I'm gutted I can't go along. Sunset Skip will be taking on Hustle Malone. The Von Engelens are back home because they are from Stevenage versus Hugo Bloom and a mystery partner. Thunder Express will take on Sass Central. And a 6-person number one contender gauntlet, David Grant versus Frankie Vegas versus Adonis Payne, who is so over in UBW, versus Vinnie Cray versus TBC versus TBC.
Well, I know you can't make it, but I was wondering if we could possibly get the youngest reviewer of Teen Types over there. We'll have a word with the big fat, with the tribal chief and the big fat geek. I also got it wrong that Southwest Wrestling weren't this weekend. It's actually next weekend. So Southwest Wrestling Nightmare Before Crimbo Night 1 in Cinderford has Gilligan Gordon versus Nico Angelo, Digger Bain versus Sid Oakley. The Billington Bulldogs are taking on the boys, Flynn and Buzzsaw. And you've got August Jackson versus Axel Carter. And if you haven't done so already, go check out our Davey and Dynamite special, the Explosive Lives with the British Bulldogs with Scott. Brilliant special.
It is indeed. Right, we're on to Sunday the 12th. We're going to start with Southwest Wrestling at SWW Nightmare Before Crimbo Night 2, the Smoking Aces versus the Greedy Souls, and JD Knight versus Eddie Ryan, the English Lion, have been announced.
Yeah, Smoking Aces versus Greedy Souls is going to be phenomenal. We've seen it already on Progress a couple of times, so we can tell you without a doubt that it's going to be a great match. Jurassic Pro JPW for the second show. Life Finds a Way in Harwich. Corey McRae versus Xander. Heidi Katrina versus Evie Madden. The Dovercourt Dragon versus Forrest Hayes versus Dexter versus Nick Payne. Tommy Kyle versus TBC, replacing LK Messenger. BDSM are taking on the lads and Elijah versus CJ Carter.
That's a good time to be in Harwich because School of Slam have also got a show on in Harwich, Christmas in a Cage. Friend of the show and our latest interview, Tate Mayfairs, will be taking on Richie in a British rules match for the British Championship. I love a British rules match, don't you?
Yes, I do. And so does Tate Mayfair. This is actually going to be the first time he talks about it on the interview. It's going to be his first time in a British rounds match. So I know that he's super looking forward to this match.
He is indeed. Also at School of Slam, SOS, Tracy Stone.
No, it's Darcy.
It is Darcy.
Yeah.
My spelling's awful. Versus Kia. EAK, the East Anglian Killers, Lewis Williams and Ryan Boyne versus Cody Land and Shane Saber. Sullivan King versus Franklin versus Mikey B versus Charlie May in a cage match for the SOS Heavyweight Championship. Leach versus Hayden Dutch Love versus Joey Joverine Knight versus Elliot versus Rex Wild versus Jake Sampson versus Klein versus Cobra versus TBC and TBC in a 10-man rumble to be the number one contender for whoever comes out as the champion.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that I find that's just a little bit disappointing because, of course, both of these promotions are in Harwich. Both of these promotions are running the same day. Both of these promotions are running at the same time. Guys, can you not get along?
Just see if life can find a way.
Yeah. I mean, good luck to both promotions because I've got nothing. I'm not supporting one promotion over the other, but I just wish the guys could work it out and just run shows on different days because they would both do better.
Yeah, they've both got great looking shows. I'd be happy to attend either of them, but I'd rather attend both of them.
Yeah, so Harwich, you are well. You're not actually stuck for a choice because Life Find a Way is already sold out. So if you want to go to a wrestling show and you haven't got your ticket already, the one to go to is School of Slam. Sorry. Yeah, Lancashire Wrestling Federation, the LWF are in Chorley, and it's going to be Fight Mode before Christmas. The Worst and Tony Wright take on Jack Roberts, Bob Coston, and Lachlan Sharp. Shining Wizard versus the Wrecking Crew. Katie Hawkins versus Lana Austin. Synergy versus Keenan Krishna and JJ Webb. Helena Razor versus Tonga, and Ronaldo versus Nick Cutter.
ICW have got a tapings at the Asylum, which will feature. I'm making up words as I go along. Feature Angel Hayes versus Anastasia, and the Kings of the North will be in action.
And again, as I stress every week, there is still far more wrestling happening all around the UK. These are only the shows I can typically get the most amount of information on full cards that we can provide you all the details for. There are some fantastic looking cards out there this week. So go watch some British wrestling. Speaking of which, let's talk about some more British wrestling.
Go
on. The Cornish Pro Wrestling, they've unveiled their new belts, and once again they are just beautiful, proving that the UK wrestling really do have the best belts in wrestling.
They do, and I know we're trying to be quick, but I've just got to say big shout outs to UKPW for their women's championship belt, which I think still is probably the prettiest belt that I have seen of this year, with a close second being the Mal Mason lightweight championship. There have just been so many gorgeous belts coming out this year.
I can't wait to see the carnival belts.
Oh, God, they're going to be so good.
Indeed. Odyssey Pro Wrestling, OPW, they've unveiled their 2022 calendar, which will be at the Alhambra Live in Morecambe. So you got Overboard on the 29th of January. You got War on the Shore on the 9th of April. Mutiny on 18th of June. Stormy Waters on the 6th of August, Panic Station on the 1st of October, and Buried Treasure on the 3rd of December.
Title Championship Wrestling have a double show at the Leeds Museum on the 18th of December. Krampus is the first show at 2 p.m, which will feature Joe Wade versus Tom Thelwell, Naserko versus Substrife and AC Matthews, Rhio versus Natalie Skies versus Ivy, and more. And Silent Nightmares at 5 p.m, which will feature Will Cruz versus HT Drake, Natalie Skies versus Tonga, and Naserko versus Rufio.
And the TNT Extreme Wrestling have announced all their champions will be at their first show next year, Merseyside Massacre. That's Alexis Falcon, Scotty Rock, Clint Margera, and the Kings of the North. Dan Maloney is set to defend his TNT Extreme Championship against Dean Allmark and Adam Maxted, two of the competitors he faced recently to win the championship in a fatal four-way, which also featured Nathan Cruz.
Indeed. World Pro Wrestling have announced two more huge international matches to their star-studded show on February the 19th in Cheltenham. British wrestling legend James Mason versus Andrew Anderson, as well as Eddie Ryan versus Gianni Valletta.
Indeed. Northumbria Pro Wrestling Society, the MPWS, are a student-run pro wrestling society from the Northumbria Student Union. And they've announced their first show for 2022, which will be on the 4th of February, where they present Southern Showdown, which will feature Sunshine Machine, HT Drake, Liam Slater, and Gia Adams.
I'm slightly confused there. Northumbria Pro Wrestling Society, Southern Showdown.
Well, they've got Sunshine Machine on the show.
Okay, that'll do it. PCW have announced 3 huge matchups for their upcoming December 17th show, Festive Fury in Preston. Yestin Reese will take on Will Cruz versus the model. Sorry, Yestin Reese and Will Cruz will take on the models. The Von Engelens will take on the Hooligans. And Priscilla will take on Cody Lane.
And I am sure there is far more British wrestling news out there, but I think that runs about the end of our show. I'm sure we've bored you for more than long enough, but I'm sure we've hopefully entertained you as well with so much great British wrestling.
We will hopefully see you all next week. And remember, go on to Powered 4 TV, put in T-Pod and get yourself 1 month of free amazing wrestling.
And remember, folks, don't feed the trolls.